Everybody out there in YouTube land, this is the Dragon Whisperer, this is Athena, and this is another video for the channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 best pets, in my opinion, for children. So, and this could also apply to beginners, but lately when I'm out with my animals at PetSmart or Home Depot or Lowe's, because I take a lot of my animals, the bearded dragons and the ball pythons, out with me in public a lot of the times. They're used to it. It doesn't stress them out. They've been handled a lot at the shows. It's only certain animals that I take out, but when I interact with people out in the street, especially families, they always ask me what is the best pet for their child to get as their first reptile. So in this video, we're going to go over the 5 best pets, in my opinion, for children or beginners, and we're going to try to focus on 12 and up. In my opinion, you really should be about 12, at least in that area, maturity-wise at least. And of course, there are always exceptions. Parents know their children. They know when they're responsible enough. But this is going to be a list of the best animals for people in that age group if they want to get into the reptile hobby. So we're going to jump straight to the video. So let's hit the road.
Roads? We're going, we don't need roads.
Number 1 on the list, the cute crested gecko. Now, if we were giving out a cuteness award to the animals on this list, it would have to go to the crested gecko. But this animal has a lot of great pros to being a first-time pet for a child or a reptile keeper that's just getting into the hobby. First of all, the ease of care. These guys have no heating requirements, no lighting requirements. You don't have to give them UVB. I choose to, but you do not have to. A lot of my crested geckos have grown up without it and done just fine. They're fairly easy to handle. They're not likely to bite, and they eat a powdered food that's just a powdered complete crested gecko diet that you mix with water, and you don't have to use insects or insect feeders if you don't want to. So once again, the pros: the ease of care, no heating or lighting requirements, easy to handle, not likely to bite, and they can live completely on a powdered food diet that you mix with water. Now, the cons of the crested geckos are they do require daily misting. You have to mist these guys' tanks every day, at least once a day, if not twice a day. They can dehydrate very easy, and they do like to be handled, but you can't handle them for long periods of time because actually your skin temperature is about 90 degrees, which is actually pretty warm for these guys. So they don't really want to be handled for long periods of time because your skin is actually pretty hot for them. So it's not that they don't like you, they just don't like the temperature of your skin because it's a lot hotter than they're accustomed to or that they feel comfortable at. So once again, the cons of these guys are daily misting. They can dehydrate easy. They're not good at high temperatures, anything over 80 degrees, and they're also nocturnal. So they're not going to be out a lot during the day. Your child's not going to see them a lot during the day, and they are fragile. If somebody was to drop them, they get stepped on, that could be fatal, and they can drop their tail. If they get scared too easy or loud noises can cause these guys to drop their tail. So that is the cons to having a crested gecko as a first-time pet for a child. Number 2 on the list, the adorable leopard gecko.
Okay, you guys, number 2 on the list is the leopard gecko, and it's so lucky right now because we're catching this guy in what I call his pajamas. When these guys shed, they pull it off and actually ingest it, but it looks so cute, like he has a little hoodie pulled back there because he's going through shed right now. But these guys are also super cute, and this is Cheech. And one of the great things about leopard geckos, the pros, we'll go over them real quick, is the ease of care. They don't really have any lighting requirements either. Some people give them UVB, but I've raised Cheech to be a beast, and he's never had UVB lights in his tank. They need a heat mat, which he has under his substrate there, and you have to have a thermostat. So heat mat and a thermostat. So really no lighting requirements, no basking bulbs. They're fairly easy to handle. They're really colorful. They definitely have a little personality to them. And these guys are carnivores. They will need to eat insects. But one of the great things about them as well is they always poop in the same spot in the tank. They're almost like a cat. They'll find a spot in the tank they like, and they will always poop in that spot. So that makes cleanup really easy. Now, some of the cons is they definitely have to have daily care. You need to check on them daily. They can drop their tail. They're also corpuscular, so these guys are going to come out in the morning and in the evening, but they're not going to be out much during the day at all. And they can bark and make a little noise sometimes, which can scare kids, but that's very unlikely. likely. And also they do need to have a humid hide in their tank. That's something you have to maintain, a spot in there that's a little humid for them, and that helps out with their shed. So once again, the pros: the ease of care. All they need is a heat mat and a thermostat. They like to be handled, no real lighting requirements, and they will always poop in the same spot. And once again, their cons: they do require daily care. They do eat insects, so if you don't like insects, they can bark at you. They can drop their tail. Once again, they're not going to be out a lot during the day because they're crepuscular, and these guys do need a humid hide. So that's the leopard gecko, number 2 on the list.
And number 3 on the list is the ball python, and because the reasons are pretty much the same, we're going to group them together. Number 4 on the list is the corn snake.
Okay, the pros and cons to the ball python and corn snake and why they're on the list is definitely ease of care. All these guys really need is a heat mat and a thermostat. They don't have any real lighting requirements. They can live in a tub or a tank as far as ball pythons are concerned. Corn snakes need a tank, and they really only need a 20-gallon. As an adult, they can live comfortably as long as it's a 20-gallon long, not a high tank like an aquarium. And these guys only have to be fed every 7 to 10 days. They're extremely fun to handle. They're not likely to bite, and they come in so many crazy morphs and colors. So those are some of the pros to the ball python. Now, some of the cons are cleaning up their poop is not very nice. Their poop can definitely be pretty disgusting, and these guys are definitely going to eat rodents, and sometimes they're not going to take frozen thawed. You're going to have to feed them live, and once they get big and you're feeding live prey, you may have to intervene to keep the rat or the feeder from hurting your snake. So those are all cons to owning the ball python. Cleaning up the poop, you're going to have to feed rodents. Some of them are going to only take live, and you may have to intervene during those live feedings if you don't want your snake to get bit by the feeder. So once again, pros: heat mat and thermostat really are all the requirements to keep their parameters in check. They can be kept in a tub or tank for ball pythons, and a fairly small tank as far as reptile enclosures go for the corn snake. They're colorful, they're easy to handle, and they can often be left alone for a few days because they only have to be fed every 7 to 10 days. So, and the cons: the poop cleaning, the rodents, the only eating the live, and the fact that you may have to intervene in some situations. But those things are the pros and cons to ball pythons and corn snakes, but they both make excellent beginner pets or reptile pets for children.
And number 5 on the list, my personal favorite, the bearded dragon. Now, number 5 on the list is the bearded dragon, and I was kind of hesitant to make this species number 5 because it does have some pretty serious care and parameters that are sometimes hard for a child, but they are my favorite species. I think personality alone kind of puts them on this list because a child's going to want an animal they can interact with and have fun with. And by the way, this is a Tar Heel Exotics design here with the screen and the fold down lid. My dragons love it. I can get them out easy, interact with them very easy. And this is Apollo, but these guys have a lot of pros. Number 1 on top of the list is the personality, because a lot of your reptiles are going to tolerate handling, but you're not going to see a whole lot of personality out of them. These guys definitely have personality. I have 7. I had 10 at one time, and they all have different personalities. They're docile. They're very, very easy to handle. I can come in here and pick Apollo up anytime I want and manipulate him or hold him. He's always in a good mood, and he's getting the head bob there because I was just handling one of the females, and he may smell her on me. But like I said, very easy to handle, docile. They have great personality, and once they reach adult status, they're mainly going to eat vegetables. So if feeders are a problem for you, if you get an adult dragon, you're going to be able to feed it mainly vegetables. So maybe protein once or twice a week. But those are the pros to the bearded dragon. Big, awesome personality on some of these guys. They're docile, they're easy to handle, and as they get to be adults, they mostly eat vegetables. Now, the cons, they do have pretty specific care requirements. These guys definitely have to have UVB, and I encourage the big strip UVB if possible. These guys are going to require insects as juveniles when they're growing up. They can have really nasty poop. Sometimes they will go into brumation, and a lot of first-time owners confuse this with being sick or having other issues, and so that can be tricky sometimes for a first time or a young owner. And they do require a larger tank. They can get by in a 40-gallon like I have some of my dragons in. She's laying in her food bowl. That's hilarious. But really they need like a 4x2x2 as adults, and they really will run around and utilize that space. And the females may lay eggs even if they haven't been with a male, so I always provide substrate, and we're not going to get into the argument about loose substrate with dragons. They live on it in the wild, people. Get over it. My dragons have never had a problem, but females, a lot of times you need to give them a loose substrate so they have an opportunity to nest and lay eggs. So those are the pros and the cons. The personality, the docile, easy to handle, the mainly vegetable diet as an adult are all the pros, but the cons are the specific care, the need of UVB, the definitely dealing with insects for juveniles. They can have really nasty poop. Brumation can be tricky. They can need a pretty large enclosure sometimes, and the females may lay even if they haven't been bred, so you could have to deal with loose substrate with a large adult female dragon. These reptiles on this list would also make great children's or first-time pets, but they do have a few more things that did keep them off the list, but they do get an honorable mention.
All right, you guys. Once again, this is Will the Dragon Whisperer. This is Athena. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video helps you make a decision if you're a adult thinking about getting a reptile for your child or someone just getting into the hobby. So don't forget to smash that like button, ring that notification bell, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. This is the Dragon Whisperer, and I'm out.